So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper of yesterday as well as today's. So from the yesterday's paper, there is nothing much to discuss. There were 2-3 things which has already been discussed. So we will be taking those articles which are kind of new to our discussion. So we will take them and then we will be moving forward. Okay. So the point of discussions today that would be, we will be starting with the practice question. Then we will be moving to the next part, that is the fact of the day. Here we will be talking about the Atal Innovation Mission, okay, that is AIM. After that, we will be talking about the constitutional amendment. Then moving further, we will be talking about this important article. This is one nation, one subscription. Okay, so with respect to R&D, and when we talk about your education policy, National Education Policy 2020, with respect to that, the focus was given on R&D, and in that regard, the government has come up with this particular idea of, that is, one nation, one subscription. Okay, after that, tiny moons of Mars. Okay, when we talk about the natural satellite, these are called moons, and when we talk about Mars, Mars has two moons which is there, and they are kind of abnormal if we talk about the satellites of Earth, etc. So we will be seeing that our moon is round and all, but when we are talking about the Mars, these are D-shaped moons. Okay, they do not have a particular shape like either sphere or oval shape, no, and they are tiny in nature. They are very small in size with respect to the other moons which are there. Okay, so we will be seeing that why it is there like that. Then Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire. This particular issue, when we talk about the issues in Middle East, that has been going on for a while. This issue has reignited because of the Gaza war. Okay, but Gaza war is still inconclusive. When we talk about the Gaza ceasefire, etc., that is not even near. But right now, when we are talking about this Hezbollah and Israel conflict which was going on in Lebanon, so now they will be going for a ceasefire. Okay, so all these things we will be discussing. Other than that, we will be talking about few more things, like there was this petition which has been filed with respect to the dargah which is there in Ajmer, that is Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti's dargah, and a petition was filed that it was earlier a Shiv temple. So we will be talking about that. We have already seen the Places of Worship Act. So whatever we have discussed, we will be going for the revision as well, because when we talk about the newspaper, that news are repetitive in nature. They will be coming again and again, because if conflict is there, it will take time for the administration or the courts to decide on that. So that is why it will be repetitive in nature. So that is one way to revise your current affairs as well. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. First is your practice question. Now, 42nd Amendment added which words to the preamble of the Constitution? We have talked about that again and again. There were 3 words which has been added. One was your socialist, second was secular, third was integrity. Okay, when we talk about these 2 words, recently there was this petition which was decided by the court, wherein it was challenged that these words should be removed from the preamble. Why? Because they were added later and they were actually imposing a particular kind of ideology. Okay, but court has said that no, that is not the case. They were not imposing any ideology. They were actually defining the characteristics which has been adopted by the people of India. Okay, and second thing is they have already been discussed in the Parliament. So these 3 words are there: secular, socialist, and integrity. Socialist, secular, and integrity. Option B would be your right answer. Now let's start with the discussion. Before that, I would like to make this announcement that now if you are preparing for UPSC, you have to come to Noida and not Mukherjee Nagar. Yes, Noida will be the new UPSC hub now. Why? Because all the classes which used to be conducted by Drishti IAS in Mukherjee Nagar, now they are shifted to sector 15 in Noida. Address is given over here: C171/2 block A, sector 15. Nearest metro station is your Noida sector 15. And if you need more information, you can call on this number, that is 9311406440. Okay, for any kind of inquiry you can call on this number, or for more details you can fill up a form which is there in the description. You can go and click the link in the description and fill that particular form, so that you can get a call back from our side. Okay, now when we are talking about the batches are starting from 9th December in Hindi medium at 11:30 AM, and for English medium 12th December 6 PM. Okay, now let's move further. Before that, please subscribe the channel if you have not done already. Now first is your fact of the day, that is Atal Innovation Mission. Sorry. Now This is launched by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, you know that it is a government of India's think tank. Now this particular, when we talk about the Niti Aayog has not been established by any kind of you can say statute. It is a, you know, this is some body which is you can say established by executive order. Okay, so this is not a legal body or a statutory body, or not neither statutory body nor a constitutional body. It is a body which was made by an executive order. Now moving further, what is the aim of this Atal Innovation Mission? Okay, now aim is to promote innovation and entrepreneurship by fostering a problem solving mindset in the students and strengthening the entrepreneurial ecosystem in universities and research institutions. So basically what they are trying to do is they are trying to foster a problem solving technique or a mindset inside the students, so that they can go and become entrepreneurs, so we can generate more jobs. Okay, this is related to the innovation, R&D, etc. Now when we talk about different aspects over here, so under this program there will be Atal Tinkering Labs. Okay, ATLs, that is basically will be set up at the school level 6 to 12 grades. Okay, then moving further, Atal Incubation Centers, AICs, business incubators will be there promoting the startups. Now incubators are basically, you can say, it is kind of an ecosystem wherein few people will be working together to come up with a new idea, that is basically your startups, etc. Okay, with mentorship, funding and technical support. Next is Atal Community Innovation Centers, that is ACIC. Okay, focus on the underserved regions, promoting the innovation into tier 2 and 3 cities and tribal areas. Okay, so basically this is related to the communities which are, you know, generally left behind, like tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, tribal areas, etc. Then moving further, Atal New India Challenge supports technology based innovations. Then Mentor India, that is it is engaging 200 plus mentors across the sectors to guide the entrepreneurs. Okay, so basically this is a kind of a mentorship program. This is for the, you know, New India Challenge. It is there to support the technology driven initiatives. Atal Community, when we are talking about Atal Community Innovation Center, that are related to tier 2, tier 3 cities and the tribal areas. Atal Incubation Centers, these are related to the startups, and Atal Tinkering Labs are at school level. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move further to the next one. We will be starting with our discussion, that is related to constitutional amendment. Now here we are taking 91st Constitution Amendment 2003. Now this is a kind of a important, you can say, amendment. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is kind of an important amendment. We will be discussing some of the aspect of this amendment today, and some of them we will be discussing tomorrow. Okay, made the following provision to limit the size of the Council of Ministers. Okay, so they have actually put a cap on the size of Council of Ministers, that will be 15% of the membership of Lok Sabha. Okay, so this is related to Lok Sabha. So we are saying that this, at the center, the Council of Ministers, which is headed by Prime Minister, to support the, or you can say to aid and advise the President, that is basically having a cap, that is 15% of the membership of the Lok Sabha, or total number of members of Lok Sabha. Okay, now made the following provision to limit the size of Council of Ministers to debar defectors from holding public offices and to strengthen the anti-defection law. Okay, a total number of ministers, including the Prime Minister, in the Central Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of the Lok Sabha. That is one thing. Second thing is here, a member of either House of Parliament belonging to any political party is who is disqualified on the grounds of defection shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister. Now here you can see they have said that it is also to debar the defectors from the offices. Okay, so here you can see, if a person who has gone for the defection, so he has, you know, you can say he has lost the membership of his party on whose ticket he has won the election. Okay, and now if he has defected, that means that he will also be disqualified to appointed as a minister. Okay, a member of either House of Parliament belonging to any political party who is disqualified on the ground of defection shall also be disqualified to be appointed as minister. Okay, now that he is not even a member, that means that here disqualified means disqualification from the house. Okay. So basically, if you are defecting, if you are changing the party post election, okay, in that case you will be disqualified from the membership, and if you are disqualified from the membership, you will also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister. Now coming to the next one, the total number of ministers including the chief minister in the council of ministers in state shall not exceed 15% of the strength of the legislative assembly of the state. Okay, again in parliament we have seen that 15% of Lok Sabha, that should be your council of minister. When we talk about the state council of ministers, that is 15% of the legislative assembly. Okay, not council, legislative assembly, including the chief minister in a state shall not be less than 12. Now there is a lower limit which has also been prescribed over here. There is an upper limit, there is a lower limit. In the case of parliament or in the case of center, there is no lower limit. Okay, there was no lower limit in the case of the center's council of minister. When we talk about the state council of minister, lower limit is 12. Minimum 12 ministers should be there. Okay, so that is about your 91st Constitution Amendment Act, that is 2003. Other than that, few aspects are also there which we will be discussing in the next lecture, so that it does not go beyond 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, now let's move further. Judiciary not beyond reproach. CGI calls for grading system for judicial officers. Now when we talk about judiciary, most of the time you will be seeing that it is criticized to be opaque. It is criticized that there is no transparency. Considering that the new Chief Justice of India, he has said that judiciary is not beyond the reproach. Okay, and there should be a grading system for the judges as well. Now if you look at the, you can say, conduct of judges cannot be discussed in parliament except for the motion for removal. Okay, until unless there is a resolution for the removal of the judge, you cannot discuss the conduct of the judge in the parliament. That means that they are having independent authority. Obviously judiciary is independent, but the problem is that who will keep a check on them? Okay, when there is a legislative action which is going wrong against the constitution, or when we are talking about the executive action which is against the constitution, we see that judiciary is there to put a cap on that, put a check on that. Now if judges are performing some kind of mistakes, who are there to check that? Okay, there are some methods which are there, but these are all discretionary methods. When we talk about the punitive actions, there are punitive transfers which are there. Okay, but again you cannot discuss the conduct of judge or otherwise on the removal motion in the parliament. Okay, so that is there. Considering that, he has said that there should be a grading system. Okay, now Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna underlined that the openness and transparency are the biggest strength of the judiciary, and that the institution is not above criticism. He also called for an objective grading system for performances assessment of the judicial officer. The role of judges is often linked to walking on the razor's edge. Okay, so that is there. They are saying that how difficult it is to be a judge, balancing competitive rights and the obligation with fairness, empathy, and the precision. Now he has said that there should be a grading system. Okay, what kind of grading system he has actually advocated? So he has said that there should be a grading system based on the overall performance, their performance which will be judged. Okay, that is one thing, that how he is deciding the cases, all these things will be judged. Second thing is objective evaluation of the decisions. Whatever decision he has taken, objective evaluation will be there. Okay, so they will be going into the details of that particular judgment, or they will be actually monitoring the judgment, okay, or the decisions. That is the second basically parameter on which you can say they will be judged. Then performance categories. Now once they are judged on these two categories, there will be a performance category, good, bad, or worst, poor, like that they will be setting it up. Now that has been advocated. There is no such you can say grading system which is available right now. Why we have taken this diagram? Because if there is a question with respect to the, you can say, issues of the judiciary or something related to judiciary, what you can do is you can just put this diagram and you can say mention the name of the Chief Justice that he has suggested something like that. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now moving further, Sanjay Khanna emphasized the importance of transparency and openness, accountability in the judicial system, stating that it is not beyond criticism. Proposed an objective grading system to evaluate judicial officers based on the performance, with categories such as the high, average, and below average. These are the categories he has suggested. Highlighted the delicate role of the judges, like linking to the walking on the razor's edge, as decision must be balancing the competitive rights, obligations with fairness and empathy and precision. Okay, so that is about this article. Now we can move to the next one, that is talking about a plea claim Shiva temple at Ajmer Dargah seeks survey court notices to the center and the ASI. Now, if we talk about these issues, Sambhal, recently in UP there was this mosque which has been going under survey, because of which there were protests which has happened. Okay, then second is Gyan Vyapi, Shahi Idgah, Mathura, Gyan Vyapi, Varanasi, and now this, that is the Jama Masjid, Shahi Jama Masjid and Ajmer. Now all these places has been in the news with respect to one thing, that they used to be Hindu temples, or they used to be Hindu places of worship. Now the problem is that when we talk about the places of worship act, in that particular act it was said that whatever is the status of a place of worship at the point of time, that is 15th of August 1947, on this date whatever status is, that status will stay, they will not going to change that. But there is one exception which was there, your Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi case, which was already under consideration, and that is why that was put under exceptions. Okay, after that there are various cases like you can say Gyan Vapi, Shahi Idgah, they have been taken by the court saying that these are ongoing disputes. Okay, now considering that court has taken it, now recently in the Sambhal case which has happened in UP, in that case also they have gone for the survey of the masjid over there. Now considering all these things, there was this new plea which was there, which is claiming that at the Ajmer Dargah also there is some kind of Hindu structure which was there. Now we are not going into saying that whether there was some evidence or not, that is for, you can say, court and the ASI to decide and how to proceed with that. Right now what is in discussion is that the Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti's Dargah. Now we will be talking about that, we will be seeing that why this Dargah is there, we will be seeing that what is the, you can say, silsila from which Mr. when we are talking about the saint, Sufi saint, that is your Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, he belonged to, we will be talking about all these things. Okay, so as even as the Sambhal district in UP remains on the edge following a court order survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid there, local court in Rajasthan's Ajmer on Wednesday issued notices to the Union Ministry of Minority Affairs, Archaeological Survey of India and Ajmer Dargah Committee over a petition seeking a survey of the renowned Ajmer Sharif Dargah. Okay, now petition has been given and they have gone for the, you can say, they have actually issued notices to the various bodies. Okay, now claimed that there was a temple at the Ajmer Sharif Dargah like in Kashi and Mathura. The mausoleum of the Sufi saint Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti was a Shiva temple. That was the plea which has been made by the petitioners. Ajmer structure was constructed after the demolition of the Hindu and Jain temples. They have said that Ajmer Dargah will be observing its 813th Urs. Urs are celebrations, or you can say these are kind of fairs which are which is conducted in at Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti's Dargah. We will be talking about that. Now Chishti Sahab wasn't born here and he wasn't from here, so who was here before him? So he has said that before that Prithviraj Chauhan was there. There was a you can say Ajmer province which was there, and Prithviraj Chauhan was the ruler of that particular province. Okay, so this is a historical fact which you can remember. Now how did Moinuddin Chishti came over here? After this particular battle of Tarain, second battle of Tarain. Okay, so we know that Prithviraj lost that particular battle, and then there was this you can say slave dynasty which has been started in India. At that point of time he has came to India and he has preached his message in this particular area. Earlier this place was known as Ajay Meru. Ajay Meru. Okay, that is the old name of the Ajmer. Now coming to the next part, wherein we will be discussing about some facts with respect to art and architecture. Here you can say Moinuddin Hasan Chishti was born in Sijistan or modern day Sistan in Iran. Okay, 1141-42 CE. After Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam of Gaur has already defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in some second battle of Tarain 1192. Now you know that there were two battles of Tarain which has happened. Tarain first, that is 1191, Tarain second, that was 1192. Now 1191 Prithviraj won the battle, against the Ghori or Mahmud of Ghor. And then in the second battle, that is Tarain II, he was defeated by Mahmud of Ghor. Some kind of conspiracy was there, and by using some kind of illicit means, he has defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in that particular battle. Okay. After that, there was this establishment of his rule in India. So established his rule in Delhi. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti started living and preaching in Ajmer. Now we are saying that we are talking about Ajmer, then from where this Delhi came over here, because Prithviraj Chauhan was basically made ruler of Delhi by Anangpal of the, you can say, Pal dynasty, which was there in the Indraprastha area of Delhi. So he did not have has natural heir, so that is why he has passed his you can say province to the Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, and because of which Prithviraj Chauhan became the ruler of Delhi as well. So when Mahmud of Ghor has attacked on India, he was the ruler of Delhi at that point of time, and that is why the Mahmud of Ghor has established his rule in Delhi. Okay, so that is there. Then this is how Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti has started to preach in Ajmer. Okay. Now, Urs is a festival, an annual festival held at Ajmer in Rajasthan, which commemorates the death anniversary of Sufi Saint Moinuddin Chishti, and that is basically your Urs festival. So, which I have already told you that we will be discussing later. So, that is your Urs. Now, what is Chishti order or Chishtiya? Okay. So, here you can say Chishtiya order was found in India by Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. When we talk about this Chishtiya order or other orders which are there, these are all part of the Sufi tradition. Okay, it emphasizes the doctrine of the unity of being with God, that is Wahadat al-Wujud, and members of order were also pacifist. Okay, so basically they are saying that there is a unity of being with God. Okay, there is one God, and God and human, they are somehow united. So that is there. They rejected all material goods as distraction from the contemplation of the God, and they abstained from connection with the secular state. They did not believe in the secular state. Then coming to the next one, the Chishti teachings were carried forward by popular disciples of Moinuddin Chishti, that is Khwaja Qutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki, for which you know that there is this Qutub Minar. Qutub Minar was made after his name, that is Khwaja Qutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. Then Fariduddin Ganj Shekhar, when we are talking about Nizamuddin Aulia, he was also from the same order, that is Chishti order. And then Nasiruddin Charaq, okay, that is the Charaq Delhi, you know that. Okay, so these are some facts with respect to the Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. Okay, now we can move further and start with the another article. For your art and culture's point of view, these facts are important. Since this particular place has been in news, this particular personality has been in news, there are chances that they might ask you in the, you can say, UPSC examination or other examination as well. What is government's One Nation One Subscription initiative? Now, when you are talking about the research and development, R&D, or if you are writing a paper, if you are doing your PhD, for that you have to read a lot. You have to go for various research, and for that you have to read various papers which are published in various journals. Now, right now what is happening is that there are various consortium of libraries are there, which are providing you limited you can say journals which are available with them, because you have to take a subscription of a journal. Okay, and that is why there are different consortium of libraries are there, and for them you have to take the subscription, and then you will be getting the access to that. Now, considering that there is duplication, because let's say there is this one consortium, okay, let's say C1 and C2, there are two consortium. He has the access to nearly 1000 journals, they are having access to 2000 journals. There are high chances that in these 2000 journals, some of these journals are also including. So that means that there is also a duplication of subscription which is there. Now, when we are talking about these consortiums, they are serving higher education institutions, because all the R&D works etc. are going on over there, and for that you are paying a lot of money for the subscription of these journals. Now, government is trying to come up with One Nation One Subscription for 3 years, wherein what they will do is they will be taking nearly 13,000 journals and their subscription, they will be pooling it in one place, and that will be, you can say, coordinated by one particular consortium, that is Inflibat. Here you can see INFLIBNET, Inflibnet, that is you can say information and the library network center, that is your Infinet, that is there in Gandhinagar. They will be actually coordinating the whole system over here. Okay, so let's see what is the idea and why it has been chosen. Okay. Union Cabinet on Monday approves a budgetary allocation of 6,000 crore for One Nation One Subscription initiative, which aims to provide government-run higher education institutions equitable access to nearly 13,000 scholarly journals under a single platform. How do high education institutions currently access the journal? As I told you, there are various different consortiums are there. So there are 10 different library consortia which are there and which are having administrative control of various which are under the administrative controls of various ministries. And a library consortium is a group of 2 or more libraries that have agreed to cooperate to fulfill similar needs, usually resource sharing. Okay, so let's say if there are 2 or 3 libraries which are related to the engineering and they have come together, they have said that yes, you will be using our libraries for the this particular engineering journals. Okay, so that is basically a library consortium. Now there are 10 library consortium which are there and which are providing you services. For example, INFLIBNET, that is Inflibnet, that is basically one of such consortium which is based in Gandhinagar, and now this is under the Union Ministry of Education. Okay, now higher education institution also subscribe to several journals individually. Okay, let's say there are some consortium, one particular institution, let's say your IIT. Now IIT has subscribed to C1, C5. Okay, these are 2 different consortium, and then there are certain journals, that is ICERT or something like that. Now these journals are basically subscribed individually because they had a need to do that. Okay, so right now everything or all these subscription are basically, most of the time you will be seeing that either based on the library consortium or they are individual. Okay, now here according to the government estimates, roughly 2,500 higher education institution can access 8,100 journals through previously mentioned network and the individual subscription. So despite all these things, we are having access to 8,100 journals. Okay, now government is trying to bring 13,000 journals under one roof, that is your One Nation One Subscription. What does One Nation One scheme offer? So here center is to consolidate the disaggregate approach to the journal access for all the government's higher education institution. The initiative will enable these higher education institutions to access thousands of journals on one platform, which will be active from January 2025. 1st January 2025, there will be 13,000 journals published by 30 international publishers that will be included in this particular platform. Institutions will only have to register on the one platform to access the journal. That whatever the platform which will be decided by the government, you have to get the subscription of that particular platform. Okay, and you will be getting the access to all of them. Then moving further, they have given an outlay of rupees 6,000 crores for the year 25, 26, 27. Okay, now what is the need of this? So here you can say to expand the access to the best scholarly journals. Okay, first thing is that right now access of 8,100 journals is there, there will be access of 13,000. So that is the expansion of the access. Second thing is to avoid the duplication of the journals subscription. As I told you, some of the consortium are having 2,000 journals, some of them are having 500. So there are high chances out of these 500 there will be journals who are subscribed by the another consortium as well. Okay, so that is basically a duplication of resources which are there. So to avoid that is one thing, because obviously one platform is buying, so they will not buy subscription of one journal more than one time. Okay, moving further, to provide better bargaining power while negotiating with the publishers. Obviously if you are going for the individual subscription, so they will be charging you more. Okay, now if you are going as a consortium, or you can say if you are going together to a publisher, there are high chances that there can be negotiation or better deals can be grabbed over there. Then to help the center gain insights into the extent to which journals are being used and downloaded by the government's higher education systems or the education. So basically they are saying that if there is one platform, so they will come to know that how many downloads are there, how many journals are being used in the education system. Okay, moving further, from where this particular idea came. So when we talk about the National Education Policy 2020, that has emphasized research as a cornerstone of achieving excellence in education and national development, recommended the establishment of the National Research Foundation to seed, fund, nurture and promote research and development while fostering a culture of innovation across the India's education system. So basically they have actually said that there should be a national research foundation. Okay. The idea is that this the education policy 2020 is talking about research and development, and for that you can say that this is a, you can say, first step they have taken. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move further. Hold on. Okay, so here we'll be talking about the tiny moons of Mars. So most of the time you see that when we talk about the story of origin of our moon, that is moon itself, that is basically our natural satellite. So when we are talking about Earth, we know that we have a moon which is orbiting the Earth, that is okay, smaller in size. Now it is generally believed that there was moon was earlier part of Earth. There was a Mars size of planet which has actually hit the Earth, and because of which there are certain you can say particles who has left the area of Earth, or you can say there are some disintegration which has happened, because of which some part was carved out. Okay, and that part has stayed there as a form of dust and the particles, and because of the gravity of the Earth they have accumulated, or you can say into a form of a sphere, that is basically your moon. Okay, now since it is part of the Earth and it is, you know, under the gravity of the Earth, because of which it started to revolve around the Earth and it become a natural satellite. Okay, so that is the story of moon of your Earth. But we see that because of the influence of the gravity, we have seen that our moon is spherical in nature. Okay, it has formed a disk and it is like that. Now when we talk about the moon of your you can say Mars, these are not in a spherical shape or in the oval shape. These are basically some potato shape. Okay, there is no fixed shape. These are D shaped. So why is that? So that is one question. The second thing is that why they are so tiny. So recently the study is saying that there are high chances that these are asteroid itself. Okay, these are not even you can say moon, but they are asteroids which has actually become moon later on. Okay, other thing is there that when we are talking about Earth and moon system, this is your Earth, this is your moon. Okay, so the you can say the orbit is aligned with the equator. Okay, so let's say this is your Earth, this is your equator. So orbit of the moon is something like this. Okay, around the Earth. Now when we are talking about the Mars, the orbits are not aligned with the equator. See, this is your Phobos, okay, and this is your Deimos. And let's say if we are talking about the you can say the equator of Mars, if we say, so these are having some kind of you can say disorientation from the equator. Second thing is, in this picture it is showing that these are having the elliptical path. Okay, but that is not true. They are not having such path, and that is exactly why I have taken this picture to you know, make you understand that it is showing that these are having these elliptical path. Obviously when you see that Earth moon is revolving around the Earth, so how do you see it revolving in a circular or the elliptical path? Okay, so mostly we consider that most of the time it will be in the elliptical path or the circular path, but it is not there like that. So please know that Mars's moons are not you know, orbiting the Mars in the elliptical path. That is one of the you can say reason the scientists believe that these are not moons and the asteroids, okay, which are under the gravity of Mars. Okay, so here you can see the picture over here, that is having shape like this. This is having a shape like this. Okay, now this shape is not sphere, this is not oval shape, so that basically that is D shaped moon of Mars, that is Phobos. And then here you can say this is smaller in size, that is Deimos. Okay, now coming to the article, now let's see what they are saying, what the research is saying. From your exams point of view, what is important is that you know, you remember the name of these two Marses and these two moons of the Mars. Okay, now moons of the Mars, too small. Phobos is 27 km across and Deimos is 14 km in length. Okay, they are not round but lumpy and misshaped object, and they do not resemble moons at all. Okay, they look like asteroids. Perhaps they are asteroid to space rocks captured long by the Mars's gravity. Okay, so that is what has been discussed recently. A study which has been published recently, that moons did not indeed start out in the asteroid form. Okay, sorry, moon did indeed start in the form of asteroid. So basically this particular new study is saying that they were asteroid, they were pulled by the mass under its gravity, and that is why they are revolving around it. They do not have a circular or elliptical path or orbit, and they are smaller in size. That is why they are most likely it is basically your asteroids. Okay, issue with the asteroid theory. Now Phobos and Deimos may be captured asteroid, okay, but one major problem is there. Their orbits are too circular and too neatly aligned around the Mars's equator. Now when we are talking about this particular thing, sorry, I have told you one thing over here, that these are not aligned. When you are looking at the theory of asteroid, if you are saying that these are asteroid, then how they are supposed to be, aligned in that path. So one thing I would like to make it clear, that these orbits which you are seeing over here around the Mars, if they are asteroid, they should not have been like that. Okay, right now the orbits are like this, these are circular orbits. So please, correct yourself if you have made some write somewhere in the notes that these are not circular in nature. In reality, these orbits are circular and these are neat orbits. Okay, there is no other asteroid around these orbits. Okay, so that is why we are saying that these are moons. But if they are asteroid is a normal mass which is there in the you can say space, which is not having any fixed alignment. Let's say this is a body which is there. Now this is not having a fixed orbit. If this is having a fixed orbit, that will become a satellite. Okay, so that is why we are saying that these are the asteroids which are when we are talking about the asteroid, these are not your bodies which are having a fixed orbit. But when we consider the Phobos and Deimos, these are having very neat and circular orbits, and that is why they are considered as the moon. Okay, so one big theory, you can say problem with the theory of asteroid is that when we are saying that these are asteroids, there is one problem, that this you can say orbits are too circular and too clean to be asteroid. Okay, and that is why we are saying that they can be moons. Their orbits are too circular and too neatly aligned around the Mars equator. Asteroids approach planets at the all sort of angle, and if these are moons, if these moons once were asteroid, their orbit would have been expected to be tilted and perhaps somewhat oval. Okay, so basically they are saying that if these were asteroid, their you can say the orbit should not have been these clean. Okay. Moving further, story of Earth's own satellite we have already talked about. Similarly, they are saying that there is a possibility that on the Martian atmosphere also there might have been some kind of strike, and because of which, or you can say there are various asteroids which has came from somewhere else and they have struck on the Mars's surface, because of which you will be saying that there are various craters which are there on the Mars's surface. Okay, so they are saying that if there is a chance that there are various asteroids which has came and hit the Martian surface, because of which various dust and the particle actually came out of it, and then because of the gravity of Mars, they have converted themselves into smaller moons which are your Phobos and Deimos. Okay, what the study hypothesis is, the new study suggests that a large enough asteroid was captured by the Mars long ago, would have gotten extremely close. The gravity of Mars would have ripped the asteroid into fragments. Some of them can escape the system completely, but some of them has hit the Mars. Okay, so basically they are saying that the Mars's gravity has attracted asteroids. They have came and they came too close. Some of them has escaped from the gravity, but some could not. They came and hit the surface, because of which these are the craters which has been formed on the Mars's surface. And when these craters were formed, there was this dust particles which has erupted in the atmosphere, and then they have accreted together to form these small bodies. These are D-shaped and these are the moons right now. Okay, so that is basically your theory with respect to the Deimos and Phobos. Okay, now one thing I would like to make it clear again, that the orbits of Phobos and Deimos are circular, they are aligned with the equator. Okay, and that is why we are saying that if so, then these should not be the asteroids. Okay, so that is the you can say study. Right now, from your prelims point of view, you don't have to worry about what theory is right or what theory is wrong. Just know that these are the two moons which are there on Mars, that is basically your Phobos and Deimos. These are smaller in size with respect to the other moons. Okay, and they are D-shaped. They are not circular in nature. So if they give you a statement that the moons of Mars are not spherical in nature, or they are of you can say a particular shape. So you can say that these are basically D shaped. Okay, so that is about this. Now we can move further to the next one, that is ocean of water may be hiding within the Uranus and the Neptune. Now why we are saying that? There was this study which is saying that there might be oceans. Why? Because considering the magnetic field of these planets, they have come to a conclusion that there are oceans inside the surface. Okay, so let's see. There might be an ocean of water inside Uranus and Venus. The hypothesis could explain the strange magnetic fields of both worlds, which are unlike any other solar system. When we are talking about Earth's core, you know that at the center of the Earth we have a core, and that is molten, and because of which you can say the Earth has a north pole and south pole, and Earth act as a huge magnet. Okay, this core act as a huge magnet whose poles are one your north pole and south pole, and then there is a magnetic field which is there around the Earth. Okay, now similarly that can be true for any other planet, but in case of these Uranus and Venus, we are saying that there are some abnormalities is there in the magnetic field, and we are considering that there is some kind of ocean which can be there under the surface. Okay, so let's see. Strange magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field is generated in its core, producing a clear north and south pole, a dipole that roughly aligns with the axis of the planet. Okay, so Earth's pole is basically a dipole because one side is positive, one side is negative. Coming to the next one, it's like there is a big giant bar magnet inside the planet. Then that's true for Jupiter, Saturn, Earth, and some of the moons of the Jupiter as well. When NASA's Voyager 2, please remember that Voyager 2, this is a spacecraft of NASA. Okay, flew past Uranus in 1986. However, it discovered something unusual. The magnetic field was hugely tilted and offset at the center of the planet. Okay, so basically they are saying that the magnetic field was showing some kind of abnormality that was hugely tilted, okay, and offset from the center of the planet. Now, at first the scientists thought that disordered field could be explained by the suspected giant impact early in the Uranus life. So they have said that there might be a possibility that there some kind of planet or some kind of asteroid might have hit it, and because of which that is the disorder which is there, okay, which has knocked the planets on its side. But then the spacecraft flew past the Neptune 3 years later, and its magnetic field was also significantly tilted. So basically when we are talking about the Uranus and Neptune, both of them, they are, you can say, the magnetic fields were tilted. Okay, now the layer of water, simulating the motions of 500 atoms to the model of the interior, they have came up with some kind of simulatory models. Okay, so they have made a model of these two ice giants, and it suggested that there is a layer of water about 8047 kilometers thick inside the two planets sitting beneath their outermost atmosphere. Now outermost atmosphere of these is of gases, and inside that there is a ocean of water which is there. We think it is an ocean. There is a hydrogen mixed with it, with it, and has a high conductivity that is important for the magnetic field. Now they are saying that, let's say this is the outer atmosphere, and inside that there is the ocean of water which is there, and which is having, you can say, high conductivity. Okay, and why this is having a conductivity? Because hydrogen is mixed with that, and because of which, you can say, ions are there, and that is why it is having a high conductivity. And if that is having a conductivity, that means that there will be a magnetic field as well. Okay, it is having a pressure that is 60,000 times greater than the which pressure is there in on Earth, and it is it behaves like a supercritical fluid, that is a combination of gas and liquid. Now please remember this particular term. If they are talking about the supercritical fluid, just know that that is mixture of gas plus liquid. Okay, that is a state wherein water is acting as on the border of gas as well as liquid. Okay, so that is there. Then like water on Earth, crucially this water would have been separated like oil and water. Now here they are saying that if there is this water which is there, so they are saying that basically it is in a form that it is separated from the, you can say, when we are putting some kind of oil in the water, you will be seeing that oil is hydrophobic, because of which it will not dissolve, it will be on the surface. Okay, so like that water would be separated like an oil and water form a carbon rich layer below that divides the ocean from the each planet's core. Okay, so that is there. Now new thing is that the water separates from the carbon. When you pile hydrogen on the top of the water layer that is dissolved, the ice giant might have formed with less hydrogen than Jupiter, Saturn, because of their larger distance from the sun. Larger distance from the sun, that means that you can say atmosphere is when we are talking about the gravity, when you can see, if you are having this when we talk about the distance with respect to the sun, you will be seeing that Mercury and all these are not having much atmosphere, okay, because that atmosphere has flown away because of the gravities of the sun. Okay, here they are saying that the ice giant might have formed with less hydrogen than Jupiter and Saturn because of their larger distance from sun. This layer of water, not the planetary cores, would then be responsible for the producing the disordered magnetic field of the two planets. Now they are saying that there is a water which is there in the layer. When we are talking about the upper layer, after that there is a layer of water which is there, under which hydrogen is there, okay, and because of its conductivity is there, and because of the conductivity there is this magnetic field which is tilted in nature. Now how much of this is true or not, that we cannot say right now, okay, because this is just an hypothesis, and that is why you don't have to worry about this. You just have to remember one thing, that the magnetic field of Uranus and Neptune, these are significantly tilted when we are talking about with respect to the other planets. Okay, so I hope that is clear. This much is enough from this article. Now moving further to the next one, Israel okay ceasefire with Hezbollah, deal likely to effect today. So you can go through this particular article. There is nothing much to discuss, because we have already seen that why there was this issue with respect to Lebanon, with respect to Hezbollah, and why this Israel is having problem with Hezbollah. All these things has been discussed, because there was this when we are talking about the Aqaba which has happened, because of which various Palestinians has moved to the areas of southern Lebanon, and then they have made this group over there, that is Hezbollah. And that Hezbollah group is basically pro Palestinians, and ultimately that is why it is against Israel. And recently when this Israel-Hamas issue has erupted, and this particular group has been supported by various other states as well, and considering that there was this fight between Israel and Hezbollah, and now they are basically going for a ceasefire, because Hezbollah does not have any leverage on Israel anymore. When we talk about the Gaza, in the Gaza, Hamas has a leverage, that they are still holding the hostages over there. Okay, so that is why there is no ceasefire with Hamas yet, but Hezbollah does not have any kind of leverage. Okay, if they do not go for ceasefire, there are high chances that these things will be harming their interest. Okay, that is why they will be going for a ceasefire. Okay, and Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire without a deal for Gaza would be a blow to Hamas, which hope that the expansion of war would pressure Israel to reach a comprehensive ceasefire. Hamas would be at a negative from this particular ceasefire, because they were saying that if the war is expanded to other regions, then at the international level they can pressurize Israel that because of you this war has been spreading, but they are going for the ceasefire. That means that is a kind of a negative thing for Hamas. Hezbollah has insisted that it would not agree to a ceasefire until the war in Gaza ends, but they have dropped that particular condition. Right now, what is the condition? The ceasefire agreement requires Israeli troops to withdraw from the South Lebanon and the Lebanon's army to be deployed in that particular region. Hezbollah would end its armed presence along the border south of the Litani River. Here you can see, when we are talking about this part, this is your Lebanon, this is southern Lebanon. They are saying that Israel will withdraw from the southern Lebanon. Hezbollah will be staying over this Litani River. Litani River is there, which is there in Lebanon. Okay, so they will be there north of the Litani River, and they will not come south of the Litani River. Okay, so that kind of, you can say, this particular place, the Lebanese army will be deployed over here. Okay, so that is the ceasefire agreement which they are working upon. Okay, so this will come into effect, and this has already been coming into effect. Okay, so that is about your you can say Israel Hamas ceasefire. There are three reasons to pursue a ceasefire: to focus on Iran. When we are talking about Israel, why Israel is going for this? Because to focus on Iran, to replenish the depleted arms supplies, and to give army a rest. Okay, so that is about it. Moving further, for your own read, there is this article recording the stories of woman who has helped draft the Indian constitution. There are few names over here: Ammu Swaminathan, then Annie Mascarin, Begum Qudsiya Azaz Rasool, and here you can say Dakshayani Velayudhan and Renuka Roy. Now these names are important for you because they have been mentioned in the newspaper. That means that there are high chances that they will be asked in some kind of option or questions in the UPSC. So please go through this particular article. Okay. Now in the end we have a practice question for you. Litani river flows through which country? Israel, Jordan, Lebanon or Egypt. Okay. So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.